Hey yo, Pineapples, Nietzsche here, back again with an updated deck profile. I recently went to a regional about an hour from where I live in Geelong, Victoria. I went to the Geelong Regional and I ended up 12th place out of 52 players. It was 6 rounds of Swiss. There was no top cut, unfortunately, I did miss out on top card. As I said, I came 12th. But I'm really happy with the way this deck performed. I'm still playing the pure Swordsoul variant. There's been a couple of minor changes to the list, particularly in the extra the side deck as well. So I just wanted to brief you on how the tournament went and the new changes that I've made. So as I said, it was a 6 round tournament. Round one, I played Shadol. It was really weird. It was a really weird and cool sort of deck. It was a Shadol, Dogmatica Trap Tricks. Unfortunately, he didn't see any of his Trap Trick engine, and the only time he saw his Shadol engine was he had the fusion, but he was under punishment at the time. So it was a bit unfortunate for him. So that was a 2-0. Round two, I played a 60 card pile with the adventurer stuff. 2-0 that. Unfortunately, he bricked game two by opening just hand traps and the snow that you don't want to see in the opening hand. So it was a bit unfortunate for him. Round three, I played against Flawunderies. Unfortunately, I lost that. It was out of my control. My hand was pretty good. It's just I couldn't out the barrier statue because I didn't draw. I just didn't draw any way out for the barrier statue. And game two against him, he opened D shifter. So as I said, it was just unfortunate. And as I said, my hand was really really good. It's just I couldn't play through the boards that he presented to me, and the D shifter was a bit unfortunate. Round three was another 60 card pile with Adventure and Eldritch that went to game three. I got Scythelocks game 1-3, winning game two because of a particular card on my extra deck, and I'll get to that in a second. But dude, Scythe DPE is just insane these days. So that was unfortunate. I thought I could win in time because about 5 minutes left, but nah, he had enough on board to kill me that game three. It was a bit unfortunate. Game round five, I played a hero player, which was a weird game as well. But I fortunately came out on top of that. And then round six, I versed a mirror match of another pure list that wasn't playing any despots or Auroradons like myself. We just tried. We just pretty much went. This is the deck, and then someone's gonna play it better than the other one. Fortunately, I came on top. Games two and three. Again, a lot of fun. I'm so happy with how I went, and I'm so happy how this deck performed. This deck performed very, very consistently. I don't think I bricked throughout the day. Um, it was very, very consistent. I saw what I needed, and it was just really, really fun. I love this deck to death. So I'll get into the extra deck. To the main deck of 40 cards. So as I said, it's a 40 card main. It's 20 monsters. It's I can't count 16 spells and only 4 trap cards. So unfortunately, this first bit's going to be a bit boring. It's the monster lineup. It hasn't changed. It's 3 Ecclesia, 3 Moe, 3 Longyan, and just 2 Tai. This doesn't change for as far as I'm aware for any Swordsoul list. It's just very very consistent. 2 Tai is completely fine. 3 I think is just unnecessary. And there's so many other better cards that you want to run at 3 instead anyway. The Tenyis, my Tenyi lineup hasn't changed. I'm still playing the 3 Ashuna, the 3 Vishuda, the double Adhara, and the Shathana. I really like the Shathana, particularly because Ghost Ogre is a thing. So on the assumption that usually Mogi gets hit with a Ghost Ogre if you just randomly normal this and use its effect. A lot of Ghost Ogre was prevalent at that regionals. So I liked having the Shathana to so I get the token and then reveal the Shathana to special summon as well. So I really like the Shathana, and it did come up quite a lot actually in the regionals. But you know, the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. Double Hara. I would love to play a third Hara. I just don't know what to take out. Probably. I'm very back and forth on the Shathana as well, but as I said, this actually did come up quite a lot at the time, so it was really really solid. Opening Vishuda against it was just unfortunate. I opened this games 2 and 3, going second against the mirror match. So, and yeah, he had a pretty good board. His end board was like Chi Xiao Baron set 2, and then this just immediate revealing this to special summon itself is just immediate pressure to any board. So it was really, really good as well. Spells, not a lot has changed. Triple Emergence, 1 Summit. Again, I like the Summit. A lot of people cut it. I think Summit's great. Free extender. If they nib you, you can just drop this to bring back any worm monster. Usually it's going to be the Chi Xiao that you probably would have sent to the grave, that they probably would have tributed over, but 3 Emergence, Summit, pretty easy. The next bit gets a bit weird. I'm playing 2 Circle in the 1 Vessel. The reason is I like the Circle in the main deck, again, particularly for Ghost Ogre and Imperm, if they happen to hit the Moyi. So where you can normal Moyi, use its effect, they attempt to Ogre and Imperm, you then drop this, tribute this to get the Shathana, you still get the token, and that way you can special the Shathana and then make the Synchro play. That's why the Circle was in here, but I decided to cut it down to 2, just because 9 times out of 10, after the first one I activate, I won't be activating a second one for the remainder, so I didn't want there to be a higher percentage chance to brick with too many in my hand, which is why I'm playing the 1 Vessel. This actually came up quite a lot. I drew this quite a lot as well. It was really, really good. Just dumping any Swordsoul name and then adding a Tenyi monster is actually very, very prevalent, and it was really, really good. I'm actually tempted to actually swap the ratios around to go 2 of this and 1 of this, but I liked it as it was. The quick play is probably a lot more prevalent than just the normal spell, but it does come up, and this was still really, really consistent for me, so it worked well for me. Next up, I'm playing Triple Cosmic Cyclone. I'm still playing this. There was, as I said, there was 1 Eldritch, and my locals is just like flooded with Mystic Mine at the moment, so I'm still playing this in the main. And then the new addition to my deck, which I'm so glad I picked up, I'm playing 3 Forbidden Droplet. My lord, do I love this card. Although at the regionals it did kind of underperform, I would draw it, but the situations where I had it were not good enough, or too good in my favor to dictate activating it, because usually my board was like, not to gloat or anything, but my board would be Chi Xiao, Baron, set this and maybe 2 others, and then just pass my turn. So as good as this card is, and in more testing, I guarantee it more than likely going to be a lot better. At Geelong, at this particular regional, I just think that this underperformed for me, because I kept drawing it in situations where I didn't need to activate it. That was the only reason why it underperformed for me. But otherwise, it's an absolutely great card to have, and I'm so glad I finally have my set. Lastly, I'm just playing the one of the Desires. Rest in peace, my good man. Still playing the Monster Reborn. I actually like Monster Reborn. It came up in the game 1 in the Eldritch matchup. He DPE Scythe me, and then I was just playing out my hand at this point to see if I can, whittle out as many cards on his board as possible. My last card, or the second last card in my hand, was Reborn. I reborn his DPE, which means he couldn't get it back, so he had to summon, I think it was Dasher from his graveyard. So yeah, this came in clutch as well. It was really, really good. I actually reborned my own Baron with it as well, so he just immediately scooped after that. It was really good. And 1 Call by the Gram. I drew this card like it was my job, man. This was insane. This was stuck to my hand. Unfortunately, again, that Eldritch player, shout out to him if he happens to be watching. He had the Lancia, so I couldn't Lancia his DPE when he activated it, or his Scythe. Nonetheless, this card came in absolute clutch. I drew this, or I would argue, probably once a match, minimum. It was just insane how many times I drew this card. Anyway, really good lineup. Lastly, the trap cards. I've cut it down to 1 Swordsoul Blackout. The same theory behind the circles, I decided to cut it down. I don't use a second Blackout in any situation. There hasn't been any situation where the second Blackout has come up. Even in grindy decks like Eldritch or Sky Striker or anything like that, the second Blackout just never came up. And when it did come up, it was just simple discard fodder. Discard fodder for Longan, which I didn't want to happen. So I cut this down to 1. I'm really glad I did. I'm super glad I did. And on my first list, I was playing Infinite Impermanence. I've decided to abandon every hand trap in the main deck. So I decided to play 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This was actually really good. I was surprised at how good this was. There was that one game in against the Floowandereeze player where because I did open this, and if it was the Imperm, I could stop him from going Rabina, Eglin, M-Pen to the barrier statue, so I could have stopped all of that. But unfortunately, it was the strike. Not much I can do about it. I enjoyed this. Even going second, this actually came in clutch. I can't remember what round it was, but I broke the board. He still had a monster on the field, but I can't remember what monster it was. I set this, and I had I think it was a Chi-Xiao and the Berserker of Tenyi on the field, and I had this set. And he was probably expecting, I think he was expecting me to Chi-Xiao that whatever his normal summon, or the Hulk I think he was summoning from the air. I just dropped this, and I ended up winning the game. So this actually did come up. 9 times out of 10, it got sided out, obviously going second, but nonetheless, this card was insane. Even stopped my Swordsoul opponent, because you can just drop this on their Synchro Summon, and they don't get the effect of the Mogi or whatever they send off the grave. So really, really good card. So that was the 40 card main deck. Really, really consistent. Really, really happy with the list. Going forward, there would probably be a couple of things that I will change in the future, but nonetheless, it was a really, really solid list. So they're my tokens that I used. Going into the the extra deck, sorry, played 1 Yazi. Not much to explain about that, the Jazi. Double Chi-Xiao. I actually was attempted to cut this down to 1 before the tournament, but actually the second one came up quite a lot. I can't remember what particular scenario. I think it was against round 1, and so the Shadol player, and then the hero player as well. Make this turn 1, use it, tribute it, or destroy it with the blackout. Make the second one to search the extender to keep playing. So actually, the second one is actually pretty clutch. So I'm glad I kept it at 2. 1 Berserker of Tenyi, Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, sorry. 1 Baxia. This definitely should be a second one. I think 2 Baxia is absolutely correct. Although the second Baxia didn't come up today, I think 2 Baxia would probably be better than 1, particularly in the meta that we've got now. I'm also playing 1 Dragite. This can probably get cut for literally anything else. I summoned it once. It was incorrect. I still ended up winning the game, but I had the other out to... It was against the Eldritch player. I still had the out to all the back row that he was setting with his Eldritch card. So this can come out for... I want to say Omega. I don't know. I'll have to do some digging. Maybe the second Baxia. Maybe it could become the second Baxia, but at this stage, I'm not 100% sure. The one card I did miss was Chi-Xiao. I decided to play 1 Virtual World QB Shenshin. This came up in once against the mirror match in round 6. So I made my Chi-Xiao. I think it was there was another card, and then I made... No, it was actually... Yeah, so it was the turn after I made the Chi-Xiao Baron board. So I dropped this. He drew, I believe it was a Tenyi for turn, and he still had Bowie in hand, but because he didn't have access to his graveyard when they left the field, Chi-Xiao actually came in pretty clutch. So summoned it once, it was really good, but otherwise it's probably a very big flex spot. Xiao Fang probably is going to come back in the mix as well. I'm not playing Xiao Fang at the moment. The level 10s that I'm playing, Baron, I made this probably every game that I either had or opened a long game. This card's insane. 1 Sinister General. This card's insane. I love this card to death. Oh my god. Instant pressure on the board. And then 1 Sovereign. Supreme Sovereign. Sinister Sovereign and Supreme Sovereign. This card's insane. This is instant pluses and pressure on your opponent. Special summon a monster, banish it, burn for 1200. Activate spell trap or effect. Banish it, because you can banish the adventure card. Is it Faith? Is it Fateful? I think it is. The continuous spell. You can banish it, all the the equip spell. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. And burn for 1200. So really, really good. Didn't summon this as much as I hoped to. It's really, really good. I only summoned this when I activate Desires to give it a really big buff, but it never came up where I needed this and Desires. So never mind. These two came in clutch. The last card was the Ruddy Rose. I never made it. This could literally be any other card. There was a cute little tech thing that I saw to shout out to Logan from Crush Cards, who blew my mind with A, her list, and B, the tech that she threw into the extra deck. I won't spoil it. Go watch her video on Crush Cards channel. It's really, really good. She came 6th place at one of her tournaments, so she's freaking amazing. Both of them are like, yeah. But Ruddy Rose can be taken out for literally anything else. Probably that super secret tech that I might think about. The Link Monsters is pretty self-explanatory. It's the 3 Monk and the Shaman. I don't need to explain these. Honestly, and as well, I might actually cut one of the Monks because 2 came up, the 3rd didn't. Shaman came up quite a lot, actually. I'm surprised how many times Shaman came up just to clear the space to make another Synchro Play. It was ridiculous. And yeah, 3 Monk could definitely become 2, but I'm happy with the 3rd at the moment. Last but not least is probably one of the most bizarre side decks that I've probably ever put together for this tournament, but for a tournament anyway. The 15th card is Pancratops because I didn't know what else to put in. It was originally going to be, I might as well just get out of the way now. It was going to be the 3rd evenly, but I couldn't get an evenly in time, so I just had to throw in the Pancratops instead. Not an issue. I opened both of these at one stage. There was broken. I destroyed their Spell and Trap Negate, then blew up the rest of their board with the evenly, so it was really, really good. Then the 3 ofs. I'm playing Triple Gamma Seal. Didn't side it in against the Flow Under Ease player, fortunately. This came up mostly against, honestly, the hero player, because I dropped this, Vishuded, bounced this back, and then dropped it over. It was their Plasma and the DPE was what I dropped it over, so it came in clutch. In hindsight, it probably should have been the Wind, the Gandala, the Wind Kaiju. Specifically for Flow Under Ease. I actually didn't respect Flow Under Ease at the event. I just I don't know, I just didn't think, like, forgot they got new support, and I didn't think Flow Under Ease would have made as a bigger turnout as it did, but nonetheless, Kaijus, they're busted. That's why they're still in the game. Triple Lancia, the only hand trap that I've played, and this hand trap is great sided, not so great mained. Not much to say about that. It's everywhere and you need to play it, I think. I'm still playing the 3 Triple T. This card came in clutch. Wow. MVP of the side deck, I think. I played this. I probably dropped this against every opponent except for the round 1 against the Shadol. I sided this in almost every one of my rounds. It was absolutely insane. And I didn't side it against Full Honorees either. But this card is insane. I love this card. Not a lot of people were expecting it, particularly the unfortunate Swordsoul player. I'm sorry I keep going back to him, but I went Vishuda to special, make Monk, attempt to bounce the Baron. He negated the Baron. I took his Chi Xiao with this because I knew we had a blackout set because he searched it. I took his Chi Xiao and then I just made my board and killed him. So this card's absolutely insane, and I love it to death in the sideboard for this particular build. The last card in my deck, honestly, this card, these should be literally anything else. I was just afraid of a lot of stally back row decks and all that sort of stuff. But honestly, except for that Eldritch player round 4, I didn't play against any back row decks. And in all honesty, the Cyclones could probably come out into the side deck. I decided to play 3 Royal Decree. Simply because, as I said, I was afraid of back row decks. I was afraid of shitty Mystic Minds because, again, they're all over my bloody locals as well. It won me game 2 against the Eldritch player. Against the Eldritch 60 card pile. only because he opened like I made Dragite set 3 with 1 being this pass. He set 4 and then he tried to Hakuro Sanguine. I flipped this and he scooped. So other than that one instance where this came up, this could be probably Cosmic Cyclone in the side, or maybe another back row hate like a Twin Twister or something instead, or literally any other card. Didn't come up all that often. I don't know. And as I keep iterating, I was just afraid of Eldritch and Snorlax, so that's why it's in there. But yeah, that's the deck. As I said, I got 12th place with this list. I'm really happy with how it performed. I'm really happy with the card choices I made. As I said, there might be a couple of them that need to be changed, but nonetheless, this deck was very, very consistent with me. I never bricked, not to toot my own horn, but I don't recall a time where the hands were bad enough that I would consider a brick. But other than that, this deck was really, really fun. I had a lot of fun in the tournament. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any tips, tricks, or queries about the deck, by all means, leave them in the comments below. I'll endeavor to read all those lovely things you say. Hopefully, I can probably bring you another deck profile. I have another deck, but I'm missing a couple of cards from it. So maybe, geez, when's my schedule? Maybe next week, maybe same time next week or something like that. But I don't know. At this point, I don't want to make any promises that I can't keep because it's been so hectic down here. It's been insane. And that's the pure Swordsoul list for, excuse me, the regionals that I just went to, and I came 12th place. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe. Until the next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Peace.